Hi, my name is Philip. Thank you for your purchase of a Gorilla Striker Trainer. Stick around and I'm going to teach you how to put one of these things together. Okay, before we begin, you need to take all of your pieces carefully out of the box and place them on the ground somewhere. You'll also notice that you have a hardware kit. Looks like this. All of the hardware in the bag consists of the same three pieces. You have a bolt, you have a washer, and you have a lock washer. Now, to make it simply easier, you can take your bolt, your lock washer, stick it on the bolt, and cover that with your other washer. Do this for all 22 combinations of the washer and the bolt in the bag, and then we'll get started. Okay, let's get started. According to page 1 in your manual, you're going to need to start with the sides of your striker trainer. You're going to need to grab both P4s, both P3s, your P1L, and your P2R. Those are a left and a right, so you need to make sure you have those on the right side. Now to begin, take your P4, simply stick it inside your P3, just like that. Take one of your hardware that you already have done, and just kind of finger screw it in just to hold it in place. Now, as you're doing this, you do not want to tighten these yet. You can notice I can move that a little bit. That's good. That will help with assembly as the entire product is being made. Once the product is complete, then we'll go back and retighten all the bolts. So you're going to stick those in there just like that. Take your P1L, slide it in, line it up. Now that we're done with the lower corners, you're going to need to grab two P5s and two P6s. There's an important note about these P6s. While they're interchangeable on either side, you need to make sure that when this hole lines up with this hole, that these loops line up with the ones on the bottom. So you can see if I were to insert it now, these holes do not line up. I need to take it out, I need to flip it so that when I insert, everything's in a nice line. I can screw it together. Then after I put in the P5, which goes in just like this, you need to make sure that the entire thing is leaning inward. Otherwise, it'll tip over. So now you just simply take your hardware, line up your holes, screw them together. Do the same thing on the other side, the exact same way. Okay, now it's time to assemble your tops for your sides here. You're going to need your P11L, P9L, and I believe this to be P7L. You need the same thing for the other side, only it's R because it goes to the right instead of the left. Now basically all you do is take your P7L, stick it in your P9L, slide it in, make sure that these line up, and then your Gorilla is going to be facing what will be the outside. Then take your other piece in the back, slide it in just the same way, and got that. Take your screws, screw them together. All right, now that you're done with the tops for your sides, it's time to put them in. This might take a little bit of rearranging to get them to fall, but it's not that hard. Now, you may get to a point where you need a rubber mallet. It's not a problem. Just make sure you treat it carefully. Make sure not to get the powder and lightly tap it into place. And do the same thing on the other side. All right, for this next step, it's time to grab a second person. So hopefully you know somebody that'll help you. In this case, got Andrew here. He's going to hold one side for me while I stick these connection tubes on. I have P14. It's going to go on the front, just like this. Slide it on. Make sure it stays up. You have your P13. Do the exact same thing. Make sure you stick it on the same side as the person's holding. Slide it on. You do the same thing with your bottom piece, which P13 as well. screw these all together. All right, now that that's attached, this side should be self-supporting, so move your friend to the other side, and all three of these need to go in at the exact same time. So, have him help you line them up, get them ready to go in. Maybe just barely place them in once they're all lined up. Push it in. You might need the help of a rubber mallet so you can put them all into place, but just lightly tap them inside. And after that, take your screws, screw them together just like we've been doing this entire time. Okay, now that you're done screwing together your frame, you need to make sure it's on a level surface. Take your Allen wrench, tighten up all the bolts. Your frame is now complete. It's time to put your nets on. Make sure when you take this back main net that you have it orientated correctly, meaning this border needs to be closer to the top than it is to the bottom, because this is what ends up attaching there. First, take the bungee cord, put it through the front corner, and you're going to make a double knot here. Make sure it's tight. You don't want this to come apart. You're going to be putting a lot of stress on this bungee cord, and you don't want it to pull out. Now it's time to start weaving your bungee. What you're going to do is take your bungee, pull it through, just like that, and pull it through the loop. Okay? Now when you keep going, you want to make sure that these little sections that you're getting ready to weave through are in between the loops. You don't want to get it too far this way or that way. So I'm going to pull it through there, go through, back through the loop, over top. You can see that one's in the middle. Pull through that one, through. And you're just going to continue to do the same thing all the way across. Now eventually, you are going to want to pull tension on this bungee, because once we reach the other side, we're going to tie another double knot to hold the tension across the front side. Now that you've fished the bungee through all the loops on the front side, you can have your friend hold the tension while you fish this one through this last loop right there. Pull it through. Now, when he lets go, make sure you're holding the tension and tie just a single knot right in this corner so that it doesn't get loose on you when you're trying to do the rest of the stringing. Just like that. Now we're going to continue on down the side. So take your lead, fish it through the top, pull it through just like that. Same thing there. We do the same thing right here. Now, this is very important. After I fish this through here, you're going to notice that there is two loops right here. Don't touch either of those. We're going to go straight down to this one right there. So I'm going to pull out some of the slack. Grab the front. Okay, pull it through the top right there and continue on down the side just like we did along the top. If it helps, you can have your friend come back and hold the tension for you. Okay, using all the same rules that I showed you before, we went ahead and completed the back net and tied it off in the exact same loop that we started in, as you can see right here. Now, though, it's time to move to this area right here. You can see we've already tied a knot right there, and we're going to string it all the way across the top. Make sure you don't tie it in one of these ones right here. These are for your side net. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take it, come in from the top of your border here. Make sure you're going through this border. If you go through one of these, it's not going to hold up. And then pull it through here. But here's a very important part. This has a lot of tension in it. You need to grab and lift and hold tension on the net the entire time you're doing this. So then you're going to come through the top, this next one, come through the loop. If it'll help, you can have a friend come back and help hold the tension for you. It's not necessarily a requirement, but it does help out. And then you're just going to do the same thing all the way across until you tie a double knot on the other side to hold it in place. Okay, now that we've completed this back net right here and tied it off, you can see you have an extra bungee cord that's the exact same length as this one. That's because this one's under a lot of stress, and we gave you an extra one just in case this goes out after heavy use. So just store that somewhere just in case you need it in the future. Now, we're going to work on the side nets. I've tied it off. At this point right here, going to do the same thing on the other side. Going to come through the front, loop it through here. Now, pay attention because I'm going to pull this through, and I'm not going to go down to the next one yet. I'm actually going to pull it through this corner hole again, just like this. Just push it through, and then you get to go down to your next slot. So pull it through. You do not have to hold as much tension on this as you did on the other bungees. You do want a little bit though, so you can get your side nut looking nice. So I'm going to do that, and then come through this next hole. And you're going to continue doing this exact same thing down the entire side. Do all of your corners the exact same way, just like you did this one. Thank you for watching the video. After you get your side nets done, you are done. So you can go outside and enjoy this thing. One thing though, we do provide you with 4 of these ground stakes. They go in the corners. So anytime you have this set up outside, please install those. It helps keep the net sturdy during winds and things like that. But other than that, thank you again for watching, and I really hope you enjoy your Gorilla product.